Hello students, welcome back into the another session of CS07 data structure using C language. As all of you know that we are discussing about unit number 1, which contains two subsections like algorithm analysis and advanced concepts of C and introduction to data structure. From these two sections we have completed with the part 1, that is algorithm analysis, which contains the detailed discussion about what is algorithm, types of algorithm, two notations, that is big O and big omega notation. All these are the theoretical part of chapter number 1, part number 1. Now we have also started with unit number 1, part number 2, that is advanced concept using programming in C and introduction to data structure, in which we have introduced what is data type. No doubt already we have done in semester 1 for programming in C. Then we go for array. Then we learn that how to initialize the different types of array, that is one dimensional array, two dimensional array and a multi-dimensional array. Then we have introduced the concept of pointer and discussed topic related to the advantages and disadvantages of using pointer. And then we have started with basic programs related to the pointer. The first program that we have completed with this chapter is how can we use pointer for addressing the stored value address, and then using the pointer we have printed that particular value onto the screen. Next program to be discussed is lastly we have done with the with use of pointer to display the value onto the screen. Now what we are going to do is we will print the address of that particular pointer also. So the definition of the program is write a program to print address of the value and pointer. Program for the same is like this. First we have to give the necessary library functions. Then after the void main statement, here I have declared a one local variable called x. Then there is a function called clr_scr. Then I have written the statement for accepting the number from the user. So the statement is printf enter any value, scanf %d %x, which read and store the user value inside the local variable called x. Then I am printing the value which stores inside that particular variable using this statement called printf value of the variable is %d comma x, and then I have written printf address of variable is %u and %x. So here in this line we will find something new over here. That means %u is introduced over here, and even into the printf statement we are using the %x. So let's try this particular program first. Let's see what will be the output, and then we can go ahead for the another program. So what I am doing is I am just taking it into the executable file, a single executable file I am using. You can create as per your need. No need to go in the same strategy that I am using over here. Just to save the time, I am doing this. That means just open the C, and once the C is opened, open the file called test.c that we have created. This is the file. You can see that the program is already there. I'm just formatting it in a proper way for better visibility. Now once this program is done, save it using the keyboard key called F2, compile it, execute it. It will ask for the value called 10. So this is the output. Value of variable x is 10 and it is stored inside the address of x. So 65,524 is not any value, but it is a value which is related with the address of x. That means this 65,524 is the reference address which is generated by the central processing unit for storing the user's value called 10, which might be changed whenever you change the variable. Let's try for the same. Now what I am doing is, again I am compiling the code, I am executing the code. Now I am entering suppose value called 90. So value is changed, address is not changed. That means the address remains same, that is 65,524. Now what I am doing is, instead of this x, suppose I am changing to the variable called y, and whenever the x is written, I am replacing with y. Let's recompile and execute it. Give any value, say for example 5. That value, that address remains same because this is already given by the central processing unit for this particular program. So this is the use of %u as well as percentage and percent symbol into the y. Just one thing that we have to keep in our mind in this particular program is that this %u print the address and even it displays the address value onto the screen. Now let's go ahead for another program. Next program is the different way for printing the value of stored variable onto the screen through the pointer. That means in three different way we can print the value of variable onto the screen. That is, directly we can print the value which is stored inside the variable. Through the pointer we can print the value which is stored inside the variable. Let's see how can we do this particular program. So for that I am just replacing the code, saving it, and then I am starting my Turbo C, and in Turbo C I am just executing this particular program first by compiling it and then executing it. Say for example I am giving the value called 34. So 34 is accessed in three different ways, where last shows the address of that particular pointer variable. Now let's see how it is possible. What I have done first is, first I have created the necessary library functions. Then I have initialized two variables, where one is the local variable and another is a pointer variable. Name of the local variable is x and the name of pointer variable is ptr itself. Then CLR is here. Then there is a message called enter any value, scanf %d and %x. ptr is equals to m%x, which reads the address of stored variable. Then the first way is I am just simply printing the local variable. Then second way is I am just printing through the pointer, and third way is I am printing the address of pointer variable, which shows this type of output onto the screen. So write down the definition for the same. Write a program to print value of variable using multiple ways to print that value onto the screen using pointer. Again I am repeating my definition. Write a program to print value using pointer in different way. This is the definition, and this would be the program. Note it down all these programs in your journal for the future purpose. Next program is we are using arithmetic operators into the pointer. That means we are incrementing the value of pointing variable by 1, and even we are decrementing the same value by 1 using the pointer variable. So how could we implement this particular program? First, after writing the necessary library functions and the void main statement, declare the two variable called x and pointer. Well, x is the local variable and ptr is the pointer variable. Then there is a clr scr statement. Then the message comes, enter any value, scanf %d %x. ptr points to the address of x where the actual value is stored. Then here I am using postfix increment operator, and into the bracket I am using the symbol of pointer and the name of pointer variable. That means whatever this pointer points will be incremented by 1, and that value is printed onto the screen using this selected statement. Same way, here I am using prefix decrement operator, which decrease the stored value by 1 and print same onto the screen using this printf statement. Now let's check whether this program is working properly or not. So for that, I am starting C and compiling the code, executing the code. Suppose I am giving the value called 10. So after incrementing the value 10 by 1, the output is 11, and 11 is decreased by 1, so output again becomes 10. Here don't get confused that why 9 is not printed, because we have used prefix decrement operator, prefix increment operator. So whatever the value get increased will be decreased by 1. Let's cross check it. I am executing it again, and suppose I am giving the value called 8. The output will be 9, and then again it comes back to the value called 8. So let's see how we have implemented this particular program. So for that, first there is a two variable declaration, that is x and pointer variable. Then there is a clr scr statement. Then there is a statement in printf enter any value, scanf %d %x, which read and store user value inside the variable called x. Then pointer points to the address of x, and that pointer is incremented by 1. So 8 becomes 9. That 9 is printed onto the screen through this particular statement called printf. Value after incrementing is %d pointer ptr. That means 9 is printed onto the screen. Then 9 is again decremented by 1 by this particular statement. So 8 will be printed onto the screen with this selected line of code. So this is the way for using increment and decrement operator in pointer. Let's go for the another one. Next program is very important. Next program demonstrate that how can we interchange, how can we swap the two values using pointer. So just write down the definition first. Write a program to swap two value using pointer. This will be the next definition. Write a program to swap the two value using pointer. Now what happens in this particular program? In this particular program, first we have to give the two values. Say for example, A is equals to 10 and B is equals to 12. This is the input. What will be the output? Output will be A is equals to 12 and B is equals to 10. So value get interchanged between the two variable at the time of execution. So let's see how can we implement this particular program. So for that, various variable declaration we require, like integer a, comma b, comma pointer p, comma pointer q, comma pointer temp, where a and b stores the actual values. Pointer p points to the value of a and pointer q points to the value of b. And shortly I will tell you what is the purpose of pointer temp. Then the next line of statement is our basic function called CLRS here. Then there is a message, enter your first value. First value is read and stored inside the variable called a using this scanf statement. Once the first value is stored, next line of statement is enter second value. That is going to be stored using scanf %d and %b. That means two value is accepted from the user. Now it's time to point the pointer at the first and second value. So the line is p is equals to m%a. That means the first pointer points to the address of first value. Q is my second pointer which points to the address of second value, that is b. So the line is p is equals to m%a, q is equals to m%b. Now the use of temp comes over here. What I have written, temp is equals to p. That means in temporary variable it stores the value of pointer p. That is ultimately the value, that is ultimately the first value called a. That means in temp value a is stored. Now actual swapping starts from over here. P is equals to q. That means first value is replaced by the second value. Now second value becomes blank. So in second value I am storing the value of temp, which is ultimately the value of first variable. Then after this I am writing the line of code, that is printf. After swapping the first value is %d pointer p. That means it prints the value of a. Then in the same way, with this second printf statement, it prints after swapping the second value is %d pointer q. Then get ch and program termination. Let's execute this particular program second time. Now the value is 3 and 2. The output would be 2 and 3. This is correct. This swapping is done using pointer. Now let's see this particular program on Notepad for better visibility, as this is the recorded lecture. Might possible that on YouTube you cannot see properly the execution. Let me show you on Notepad. This is the code. Write down the library functions first, then void main, opening and closing bracket, declare the necessary variables, basic function called CLRS here. First printf and scanf statement for accepting the user's first inputted value, second inputted value, pointer P points to the address of first value, pointer Q points to the address of second value. In temporary, first value is stored, then first value is replaced by the second value, and second value is replaced by the temp, which is ultimately the first value, and then two printf statement for displaying first and second swapped value. So in this way we can design a program to swap the two values using pointer. Note down this particular program for the future purpose in your journals. Next, next program is to use pointer through array. That means we are using our pointer in array. I'm just taking this code in a file that I am executing in C. Open Turbo C editor. You will find that particular file. Let's format it properly. In first line you can see that I have declared the three variables. That three variables are integer a of 5, that means there is an initialization of one dimensional array, then n is the local variable and I is another local variable. Then on the very next line I have declared pointer p, which initialize a pointer called p. Then after CLR SCR, p is equals to a, that means p is set at the first location of array. Then there is a message, enter number of elements, that means how many elements we want to store in one dimensional array. Maximum we can store 5, as we have given the size called 5. So that 5 is stored inside this variable called n. Then there is a message, enter elements of the array, and then there is a one for loop which repeats 0 to 4 times. During the repetition of 0 to 4 times, on each location of array it stores the value. That means on a of 0 it stores the first value, then on 2, then on 3, and then on last called 4. Total it stores the 5 value. Then I have reinitialized pointer to the first position by writing p is equals to p minus n. That means pointer is set onto the first location of array. Then there is a message, elements in the array are, again one for loop starts with 0, as array always starts with 0th location. Then in this for loop I have written printf %d and %pointer. Let's execute this code. Give 5 and enter any 5 values. Say for example I am entering the 5 values are 2, 7, 8, 0 and 1. So that values are printed onto the screen, that is 7, 8, 0, 1 and 2. Here I think I forgot to write get ch statement. Let's write it, get ch. Let me execute this code again. 5, 2, 1, 0, 8, 4 and 5. 1, 0, 8, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I have to remove equals to. As it is accepting more than 5 values. First value is 2, then 0, then 9, then 1, total how many values I have entered, 1 2 3 and 4, last one is 7. So the exact output is onto the screen, that is 20917, which stores inside the one dimensional array, and using pointer we are printing the values which is stored inside that one dimensional array. Let's see this code in Notepad for better visibility. This is the code. Note it down for the future reference. The definition is write a program to store values in one dimension array and print same using pointer, right? So note down this program properly. I hope this is the sufficient time for noting down the program. Let's go ahead for another one. You can pause the video and you can write the program, no issue. Next program is we are printing the sum of all values which is stored inside the one dimensional array using pointer. Let me repeat it again. This is the code. Definition would be write a program to print sum of all the numbers stored in one dimensional array using pointer. Fine. So what will be the logical implementation? First, after the necessary library statement, void main opening bracket, declare a one dimensional array. Here I have declared a one dimensional array called integer a of 5. Then sum is equals to 0 and the local variable is I. Then the pointer variable called pointer p, CLR SCR, pointer points to the address of first value stored inside the single dimensional array. So the statement is p is equals to a. Then the message is printf enter elements to stored in array. Then there is a one for loop. That for loop starts with 0 and repeats less than 5. Then there is a opening and closing bracket. In that opening and closing bracket, I am performing the two different functionalities. First, I am reading the number from the user, and parallelly I am adding it with the third variable called sum. So the statement is sum is equals to sum plus pointer p. And then out of the loop, I am printing the final sum onto the screen with printf statement. Printf sum of elements are %d comma sum. Now let's check this particular program in C. Say for example I am entering 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6. How many values are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4, 6, and 1 is 7. So 7 is printed onto the screen, which is the ultimately sum of all entered value. Why I have taken question mark over here? No need to write this. Let's run again. 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1. How many 1 are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 will be the output. Fine. Note down this particular program in your journal for the future purpose. Just showing you. I'm just showing onto the screen. Fine. I think you have noted down this particular program. Let's go ahead. Next program is storing and printing the values in two-dimensional array and then printing it through the pointer variable. Let's see how can we implement this thing. Let me check it first. It's done. Let's open it in Turbo C. Let me execute it first. Okay, J++, closing bracket. Okay, fine. So what will be the definition? Write a program to store values in two-dimensional array and print same onto the screen. Write a program to store values in two-dimensional array and print same onto the screen using pointer. So what I have written, first I have initialized the two-dimensional array with necessary variable. I is for the row, j is for the column, and n I think it's unnecessary for this particular program. Let me remove it. Then CLR is here. For I is equals to 0, I less than 2, it's a parent for loop. For j is equals to 0, j less than 2 is the child loop. This scanf statement stores the value inside the location called 0 0, then 0 1, 1 0, and last one is 1 1. That means it will store total 4 values. Then after storing the 4 values, another parent and child for loop I have written over here, which prints same thing onto the screen, but that thing is printed through this particular logical line of code which contains non-declared pointer. This is something new. What I have written, elements at %d, that means I and j is %d, I and j, which prints the location, then pointer into the bracket another pointer. First pointer is for row, second pointer is for column, that is first pointer for I, second pointer is for j. Then I have written a plus I into the bracket plus j. Now what it prints onto the screen? Suppose I am entering 2 for 4 times. Then on 0 0 it stores the first one, on 0 1 it prints the second 2, on 1 0 it prints the third 2, and on final location 1 1 it prints the fourth 2, as I have entered into the two-dimensional array. Let's change the value. First is 2, then 3, then 6, and then 1. So what will be the output? 2 3 6 1. 2 is on 0 0, 3 is on 0 1, 6 on 1 0, and 1 is on 1 1. So in this way we can use pointer in two-dimensional array. Now let's see this code over Notepad for better visibility. Definition would be, write a program to store values in two-dimensional array and print using pointer. Note down this particular program. Fine. I think this is the sufficient dose for today's lecture. In our next lecture, we'll go for another topics. What we have covered in this lecture, many things, many programs related to the pointer. That means use of pointer in array, in variable, looping control structure with pointer, increment decrement operator through the pointer, and many things we have discussed in this particular lecture. That means this selected topics get completed in this particular lecture. So thank you very much students for listening me, and have a nice day. in our next lecture we'll go for the use of UDF, that is called as function, through the pointer.